Well, hello, everyone, our UA fam.
Hey, guys.
Hello. We are so freaking excited because today we have two special guests.
Boop, 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 boop.
If you're watching on YouTube, you see them. I love, like, we'll always just assume people are, like, they can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then we'll just, like, leave this long moment where everyone's like, are you going to say,
Okay,
like,
well,
who it is?
is it?
Yeah.
Tell us already.
So we would love if you guys can give a little intro of who you are, what your podcast and content is about, and then we'll go from there.
Hello. I am Sam. I am a dual citizen of Australia and America.
Are you really?
I am. And I've eaten a kangaroo tail.
You have not.
I have,
my
and
God.
it's delicious.
Can you describe the flavor?
It's like gamey. Think.
I would think so.
Think like a deer. Have you ever
I've
eaten
never
a deer?
had deer.
I've also
On
never
accident.
eaten a deer, but I've been described as
So-
gamey.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
that this is the first nugget of knowledge that we're getting about
Yeah.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm John. My fun fact is that I can clap with one hand.
I think you get better every time you do
My
that.
party trick. So
It's so
unfortunately, to describe for all you audio listeners, I keep my palm stiff and then my fingers slap,
Do the
and
rest.
then everyone tries to do that, and it's always great. So that's me and my fun fact.
I can't move
Yeah.
my...
You're welcome,
Can't like
video
that.
watchers.
Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Around New Year's, we get obsessed with how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we're already doing. Maybe you finally organized that one part of your space and you want to tackle another, or maybe that task of waking up early every morning to work out is just becoming a little bit daunting. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/unsolicited today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/unsolicited.
I'm glad you explained it because immediately in my head, I was like, what is?
How does it work?
Yeah.
I always explain it in
I'm
Logistically.
case
surprised
people
you're
want
giving the secret sauce away for free. I think
Yeah,
you should,
dang, that's true.
create an
I
online
am a
course for
man
that.
of the people.
Yeah,
and
thank
I
you,
like
thank
to
you.
give more than I take.
Wow, I feel
We
given.
love that.
Too.
Yeah.
We
That's
love
beautiful.
that. We love
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, we have a show called OKOP. My mom says, "What does that stand for?"
I
And-
was literally just going to ask. I was
Yes.
curious.
Are you my mother? No. My mom says it asks that, and it's called OK Original Poster because like we started reading stories on Reddit, and
It's like a
that's
Reddit
what-
term.
It's like a
OP.
Reddit term, but also it also means overpowered.
It does. We
in
are pretty
Super-
overpowered
Super
too. so
Smash Brothers.
It's a double entendre.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it evolved from just Reddit to now people call us with stories,
Yeah.
which has been awesome. We have a call line. If you guys want to call us, 440-508-6567.
No, I love that.
Taryne and I will be doing that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Calling
Be
in.
like, hey, guys. So I feel like this collab is so cool. Well, first of all, because you slid into my DMs.
I did.
Yes, you did.
Unabashed.
How did you like come across us?
We had seen your Instagram and then checked out your podcast. And then I'm like, who are these lovely hosts? And then we reached out to you.
Say these lovely hoes.
Host?
Oh, host. Lovely host.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
Either
are a
one.
respectful podcast.
Either one.
Our audience is 90% women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Same.
Yeah, we were talking about that, which like right away, like the second they heard like male voices, they were probably like, "What's
Oh my
happening?
God.
What is
Hold
happening?"
on.
Yeah, we're not an Andrew Tate podcast. We're not asking
No,
you to
dear
take the red
God,
pill.
no. But yeah, we were connecting, and then just it's cool because like our shows are very similar, but like very different too at the same time. And we have people that write in. We always started like that, but you guys said you started from Reddit. How would you like find stories and stuff? Do you feel I
On Reddit?
know nothing about Reddit.
So-
Do people just post stuff there?
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
there is it's mostly I think men. So the reason that I think our show did well is it's mostly men on Reddit, but no women go on Reddit. And so, but they love the story. They love the stories from Reddit. So there's not a lot of but it's like people submit stories and there's like little sub niches and subcultures, so they call it subreddits. So there's subreddits that are about like relationships, or subreddits that are about dogs and
entitled Karens.
And then people will write stories or submit pictures or videos. Like think Facebook, but different.
But text only.
Yeah, but it's not text only. It's all.
But there are some pictures, but it's a lot of text.
Think of Facebook.
Craigslist, but it's social media.
Okay.
What do you think their Silicon Valley pitch was? Probably that.
Actually, that was really that makes I understand now.
Makes total
I understand.
Me big brain.
Yeah. He grew up in the Valley, Silicon Valley.
I didn't, but
I
worked there.
No, but like in terms of his professional career grew in the Valley.
Got it.
Yeah. Cool. And then how did you guys meet? Like, were you friends before, or
Cute story?
It kind of is
meet cute.
Yeah.
Meet cute moment.
You should.
We had a mutual friend, Tiffany. So I was in the Bay before. I moved down to LA. My friend Tiffany moved ahead of me, so I met up with her, and then she's like, "Oh my gosh, I have a friend who's also in podcasting. Sam, you should totally meet." And then so this was like right as COVID was starting. So we hopped on a Zoom call, and we just like had a ton in common.
And we just wanted to keep talking to each other.
We just wanted to keep talking. So we were like, let's talk every 2 weeks. We were like, we put that day on the calendar every single 2 weeks. Let's talk. Let's like share. Let's help each other. Let's like.
The reoccurring call, so powerful.
So truly a life hack.
Highly recommend.
Truly a life hack, especially if there's someone who is like, oh, hey, like we have so much like we're peers. There's so much like mutual benefit.
And then peers became friends. Friends became lovers.
Do we tell we can maybe not name So you know what I'm talking about.
So I was doing a podcast that was like interviewing entrepreneurs, and then a large podcast company that shall remain nameless reached out and said, hey, like you should do a show with us. And I'm like, that sounds cool. And they're like, but we need a co-host. And so I know the perfect person. I've been talking to him for like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so like, John, you want to host this show with me? It's like comedy business stuff. And so he was like, yes. And we started hosting that, and it was super fun. But then it got like canceled after 4 seasons. And we're like, we can do this better ourselves. Let's strike out on our own.
We don't need the man.
I love that.
That's right.
And then we posted, like, we just like did a test of like our first story, and the first video got like 500,000 views, and we're like
crazy.
Off to the races.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you guys are like killing it on TikTok. Have you hit 1 million?
Oh,
You're like,
that's a sore spot.
I'm sorry.
It's a sore spot.
It's tender.
We've been at like 900 and I think over 900,000 for the last year.
I think
probably.
We've been at over 990,000 for the past 6 months.
Yeah, it's
that's brutal.
I want it so.
Sam is very like he'll get so singularly focused.
I just
like,
want the M.
Yeah.
I just want the M.
No, for sure. I get that.
The M's a big thing.
But yeah, so I'm super excited for this. I think it'll be fun to see like. Because we love crazy stories, but I feel like we don't get as crazy as you guys do. Because Reddit is like, I'm going to tell you all the tea.
Yeah.
And then ours, it's more like deep, like genuinely people are like, help me. Like we want to know. So we pick some stories I feel like you guys can like give your perspective on. And we're not going to miss the opportunity of, we have 2 males here.
Mm-hmm. We are men.
So, and our listeners, we ask them what they've just always wanted to ask, but they never would.
Ooh.
So you guys are now spokesmen for all your
I
hosts.
represent the man. You're welcome.
So, but they're not too juicy, but they're good.
Yeah.
But I have one. Okay, I saw a TikTok. So I just got my holiday red nails, and every time I love red nails because I feel like they just like improve my sass level. But then I saw this TikTok that said men like women with red nails because it like reminds them of their moms. Is that true? Because that just ruins everything.
I don't think I've
for
ever
me.
looked at nails.
My girlfriend
Really?
has red nails right now.
And does it remind you of your mother?
No, she has cranberry red builder gels. Okay,
Okay,
so
that's impressive. That's
Wow.
impressive that you know
she
that.
got
You
a
listen.
whole listen. She got a whole kit. She gave me the whole 411 on everything. She tells me every time. No.
Yeah.
That's
So that's not a
ridiculous.
thing.
Debunked.
Debunked. Okay,
Yeah.
thank
Although
you.
if it's like I saw someone with some yin yang nails, if there's like an art form in the nails or like that seems somewhat obvious,
Then you'll notice.
Then
So you
I'll be
don't
like,
notice nails
"That's
at all?
not unless they're yin yang colored.
Okay, so then on the flip side, do you notice if girls' nails aren't done or they're like polish is chipping?
Literally never.
Okay.
I might
Fun.
notice
Good to know.
if it's like if you've just been like digging a grave with your bare hands, like then I'll be like, oh, like
Some twigs hanging out.
yeah, you got
Just
some,
got out of UFC.
yeah,
You know?
oh yeah, you got bloodied, you got some bloodied up knuckles. I'll
Good
probably
practice.
notice that, but
Okay. Good to know. Honestly, good to know.
nails?
I think I overthink everything.
Yeah, no, same.
My girlfriend
To
all the
get
time is
done
like,
up,
"Oh my
nails."
god, I have to do." I'm like, "Baby, they literally look amazing. I literally have to hold her finger like this to my eyes."
Yeah.
Listeners, I'm holding my finger up to my eyeball. Yeah.
But you know what? I've had before somebody I worked with that she said that's one of the things she looks at in her interviews because
Nails.
she's like, I look at everything to see like how put together they are, and one of them is nails. So there's a lot
like
of
that.
pressure.
So I used to
As
work
women.
at hotels, and the first time I ever worked at a hotel, I did like the front desk, like I checked people in and stuff. Our manager literally told us our nails had to look clean.
Wow.
Like not necessarily manicured and like pay for a manicure, but they had to look nice. And I feel like that's been in my head ever since.
Yeah.
Ever since.
So it's self-care, but it's also we're trying to be like we have our lives together.
I have together.
I
Look at my
mean,
hands.
it looks great. It looks great.
Yeah. Your
But it
nails
could
are.
be
Don't lie.
like we
You didn't
don't
even
notice
notice.
as men like the details,
little
but
things.
the image that's put together from
overall
all of the
package.
small little things. It's like
The
oh,
painting
wow. Yeah,
that
yeah.
Wow,
is
yeah.
then given, the whole picture.
What about
Exactly.
you,
Yeah.
Ash? Do you have something you've always wondered?
I'm a big skincare girly. Like 10-step routine every night.
steps.
Nice.
I would love to know your skincare routine.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Sam's got one.
Well, okay.
You just told me recently you were like, I have a skin routine.
Perfect.
very, very recently. Well, okay, so. Okay, so like literally, this is maybe 2 months ago. I went on. Oh man, this is going to be. I guess this could be one of my embarrassing stories.
We'll just two for it.
Okay, so I went. This girl that I'd known for a while, but like very tangentially, started like texting me.
Tangentially. Excellent vocabulary.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you.
Be
you.
smart.
I'm going to use that later today in a sentence.
And we were like friends but like again tangentially, and then we're like, oh, like let's like get together, we'll have to catch up.
Yeah.
So we catch up. I'm thinking very much this is just two friends hanging out, getting dinner together, but very, very, very in the context of friends.
Tangentially.
Tangentially. Anyway, we have a great time, and she's going to leave. She Ubered there. I drove, and she's like, "What are the chances that you take me home?" And she lives in Burbank. I live in Santa Monica. That would have added like an hour to my drive. And I said,
It's long distance.
it's long distance at that point.
Let's
Yeah.
say it.
And I said, if it's, and I already know that I'm the asshole for this. I asked our audience. So yes, preemptively, I'm an asshole for this. But she asked me, what are the chances that you take me home? And I said, hey, if it's 23 minutes or under, I will take you home right now.
Okay.
Okay, but see, I don't think that's that crazy if you're just friends.
Well, keep listening.
Keep listening. So we look it up and it's 24 minutes. And I say, I'll wait for your Uber.
1 minute? That's so savage.
Damn.
Your cutoff should have been 30, honestly. Like, in your mind, you say 23, but 30.
In my
think
head, I
23
was
shows
like,
you
I want
didn't
to be
wanna
a
do it.
man of my
didn't want to.
word.
Yeah.
You know, yes.
I said it and I
now
meant it.
realize that I'm
Wait, before you say.
I now realize I'm But anyway, after she hadn't seen me for a couple years, and she's like, "Oh, that's totally fine. Also, you should probably have a skincare routine because you have crow's feet."
Okay, well, now she is.
So,
That's unwarranted.
That's weird.
That was a little
but
unwarranted.
we're still friends.
Okay, okay. I'm
We
sorry.
were talking yesterday.
I hope you're having a great day.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. But since that day, I'm like, what does a skincare routine look like?
Yeah.
And so now I have a thing in the shower that I put soap on, and then I
Soap?
put moisturizer on.
You know what?
Excellent.
Pod. If you
And
need some
that is a
tips,
skincare
if you
routine.
need some tips, we've got some solid ones. She's
Yeah.
the guru, but
Yeah.
yeah. What
I
about
love
you?
that.
I usually have, my parents actually recommended me the like Trader Joe's. It's like sunscreen and moisturizer.
Ooh.
I have heard. I saw a TikTok about that it's like underrated. Yeah.
White cracks, so I have to prepare for being old.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yep.
I feel like it's sunblock every single day for us.
Yeah.
Literally. Okay, so we have more. Well, it was so funny. So all of these were like, do you even like me? Why do you always lie? I was like reading these and I was like, oh, honey, who are you?
Feels a lot like bitter.
Yeah. But this one I thought was interesting because, again, I don't know why the theme is, I saw it on TikTok, but I saw this TikTok where this guy was saying that men don't really get complimented. And so someone asked, how would you like to be complimented?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I mean, I think men probably get compliments less than women
I
in
think so,
general.
Probably
Yeah.
less. Yeah. And men compliment each other less.
Yeah.
I compliment, but
We compliment. I was going to say earlier, your face is so beautiful. Don't let any person get you down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love
What
my
crow's
crows,
feet?
my flock, my murder.
That's right. Yeah. My murder eyes.
I mean, like just regularly, like you look nice today. Okay, I wouldn't mind that.
Okay.
Yeah. Y'all complimented me on my shirt, which
Yes.
which
I was gonna
made
say,
me
how did that
feel
make you feel?
good. I am
Good.
trying to level up my style.
There you
since
go.
being a
If
slouch.
I look a little buffer, if my arms are like a little bit bigger from working out, dude,
Say something.
that.
Say it.
Say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would feel
Yeah.
great about that.
That's a pretty
Okay.
good one.
yeah.
Okay, so what about, because those were all like physical things,
Right.
but what about like complimenting, like, hey, like you've been working really hard, or like that was
Yeah.
really kind, like that stuff, does that matter as much, or it's more?
If someone
Definitely.
said you've been working really hard on your skincare routine and it shows, I would take that
Sam,
as a
you're still
compliment.
talking physical. Get off of that.
The hardness. It's about the effort put into the skincare.
There you go, there you go. Yeah.
Let me think.
I think it's like really good and something that men both have a hard time giving and receiving in terms of like, hey, you know what? You're like a great friend, or like I noticed, the way that you interacted in this way, and like it made me proud of you or something. I think that's like beautiful if
Yeah.
someone
Yeah,
shares
yeah,
that
yeah.
and receives that.
But I think it's
know?
also like it's just less common for men, I think, to be emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
sure.
Like a lot of my emotional vulnerability, I think, came from learning in relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like learning from my like the girlfriends that I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which has been awesome.
Yeah. We've talked about that a lot. Because it is, and I've watched even my brothers. I mean, my brothers are lucky because they have me, who's like, tell me everything. How are you feeling? What can I do?
Yeah.
Like both their wife and fiance always are like, Taryne, thank you so much. Like you prepared them. But we talk about that a lot because it is really sad. Like when you think about it, or some of the stuff like will come and just be like, oh, I've had a hard day. Like I'm stressed. Like blah blah. Blah. And it's like you can't imagine that dynamic happening as much, or at least for it to be met with a very like cushiony like, oh, sit here, tell me about it,
Right.
and like that must be so hard. So
Taryne taught me about emotions.
yeah,
Oh wow.
We like to say I'm the guy in the relationship.
yeah.
Which ones
It's-
are your
It's
favorite?
rough.
Which ones are what?
Your favorite?
Your emotion. It's all anger, malice.
I did learn that I have an anger problem. I did learn that I don't communicate clearly. And she's taught me that it's easier to have hard conversations in the beginning, having littler conversations instead of it being this big thing. Because I have anger problems, it becomes a big thing, if that makes sense.
That is great.
proud of you.
Solicited advice.
No, I know we've talked about that. Our name doesn't make sense. It's like because it is very solicited,
Right.
but it just sounded better.
It's that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Around New Year's, we get obsessed with how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we're already doing. And I know I'm not the only one that this statement resonates with. Maybe you finally organized that one part of your space and you want to tackle another, or maybe that task of waking up early every morning to work out is just becoming a little bit daunting. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of BetterHelp. They literally got me through one of the hardest times in my life. My favorite part was I was able to switch therapists to find someone that just fit me perfectly and could help with what I was specifically looking for. And it was just so easy to like message my therapist, change my therapy time, whatever I needed. It was right there on the app. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/unsolicited today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/unsolicited.
Okay, so next one. This one is good. What do you guys talk about at sleepovers?
Ooh. Me and our producer Riley were just talking about why don't we have sleepovers as adults?
Do guys not do that?
I mean, it's like, oh, let me crash at your place.
Oh,
but I'm
right.
like, nah, let's have a sleepover,
Yeah,
bro.
100%.
Let's do it. Yeah.
PJs,
I
popcorn,
feel like I'm
candy.
having one long sleepover with Riley right now.
That is true.
Because
Our producer lives with Sam now.
He just
perfect.
moved in, and then
Perfect.
my childhood best friend, who I've known since I was 5, we moved in together like 4 years ago, and something I was like, if you told me when I was 5 that I would be having an endless sleepover with my best friend, I would have thought you were crazy.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Right?
So, I think my roommate is my sleepover
So
partner.
do you guys like hang out? Like, let's watch a movie and hang out and talk? Or is it kind of like strangers in the night?
Video
Like,
games. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk probably like pre-adulthood sleepovers,
Okay,
maybe.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is that the
yeah, sure,
context?
sure.
Pre and post, because
Okay.
now I'm intrigued.
Okay,
and I
pre
want to
and
know.
post. GTA for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my
I
friend.
don't know what that means.
Oh, Grand Theft
Grand
Auto.
Theft
I
Auto.
was just
Oh,
gonna
okay.
say.
Yeah.
I was like-
the
just
video
gonna
game,
say.
not the
GTA.
grand
Yeah,
larceny or
just
whatever.
go and steal cars, my friend, when I was 12.
I mean, I grew up in Florida, so really all bets are off.
So you get your driver's license over there.
100%. But yeah, video games, biking. Biking
Yeah.
was big. I don't
Well,
know.
I think like they did this like study on how men and women hang out, and like men are side to side when they hang out, so they'll do activities where they're side to side, so like playing video games, going like biking, running together. Women a lot of the times will go like face each other, so they'll be talking to each other. That's why there's like that emotional depth. So I think like when
Yeah.
I hang out with my guy friends,
Interesting.
it's more about doing a thing together that we're both experiencing.
Yeah.
But when I've hung out with like girlfriends, it's more like let's talk to each other eye to eye
Yeah.
and see each other. So I think generally, if I was to boil it down to what does like a guy do at a sleepover, I think it's side by side activity.
Yeah.
What do we
That's
talk about?
Really
What do we talk about
interesting.
though? The activity.
The activity, girls, obviously.
Girl- yep,
you know,
girls.
our
Okay, that was
crushes.
another one. Do you talk when you like a girl? You talk about her to your friends. So
For
yes.
sure.
How? Okay,
I
so this is interesting. So like girls will break down like absolutely everything
Right.
to the point of like he opened the doorknob like this, he like looked at me like this, he did this, oh my gosh, then he said this, and I saw him like glance at me, I was staring at the reflection and I saw him like we break down like every little thing that could have had a possible meaning.
Right.
With guys, is it just kind of like short sweet sentences like
I would say not that deep, but like same as
The
Sean's.
doorknob?
Yeah, the doorknob's a lot.
you would be surprised.
Is this an ick?
Yeah, right? Oh, we recently had a whole thing where our producer Riley has stopped drinking with a straw because he
He
saw
saw
that
one
it was
TikTok
an
that
ick.
it was an ick. Yeah.
And he's like, I've stopped drinking through the
That's
straws.
like what's that movie where he says not to drink it?
Will Smith. Will Smith.
No,
Yeah.
no.
No?
Steve Carell and
Hard
Oh,
for love.
Ryan-
yes.
Love
Ryan
Actually.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
No,
Yeah.
Drunk Hard
Crazy
Love.
Crazy
Love.
Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Love.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Wow. Teamwork.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
We all got
Well, all
that.
of this
Yeah.
is teaching me that I relate way more to guys.
Oh yeah,
Because having hard conversations side by side.
yeah.
It's so much easier for me.
In child development, we call that parallel play. Everyone, parallel play.
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't divulge all the information that goes on dates.
No, I have to ask her, like, she'll be like, it was good. And I'm like, you're killing me.
It was great. I'll say it was great, or the kiss was great, or something like that. But
Yeah, but that's all I get.
but she wants all the details.
How
and
did
I'm
he
like, I
open
don't
the
have
door?
them.
I'm like,
I don't
where
have
was
them.
his
Tell me.
hand?
But if
How
she
long?
asks specific questions, then I'll
Yeah,
give it. But
yeah.
it's not something that I just like give
Yeah.
freely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is like the most important small thing that you guys look for in a date?
Is it the first date? Is it like
First
say
date.
first.
Yeah, let's say first date.
small thing? I don't want to see your phone on the table.
What if it's upside down?
I feel like that's a nice first step, but I feel like the date's going really well when I see them like put their phone in their pocket or something like that. Yeah. I'm personally very intentional about it always being flipped upside down, but if I'm like really having a date with someone and I'm like trying to be very intentional, then phone, I don't want to see your phone. It doesn't feel like I'm important.
Yeah. I'm really weird about hugs, like, because I feel like it's, you can just feel like the comfortable. So like hugs can be like something for me that I'm like, oh, that was awkward, but it's not a like, I'm done if it's like an awkward hug. And then for me, I'm very like observant about like how he treats other people. And then also like, is he asking me questions back or is he just answering all the questions I'm
Am I
asking?
carrying the entire conversation?
I've been on some dates that like, they're like, oh, that was such a good date. And I'm like, yeah, bro, because I did all of the work. Like, I literally asked you about
She asked so much
your
about me.
boss's cousin's dog's vet and how their family Christmas is. Like, it's, so I feel like I like when it's reciprocated.
Do you feel like that's rare?
Yeah. Oh my God. Especially on dating apps. Yeah. It's like you ask a question and they just answer. And you're like, oh, so okay, so my turn again.
Do you like?
I don't know why I type.
Do you like dating apps? Like, do you?
No, I hate them.
Okay,
They're terrifying.
Are you both on them?
Yeah, I actually am currently in a success story for Hinge. It's been great. I don't enjoy dating apps.
Okay.
I think the process, I went through a lot of really not great dates
Yeah.
in order to find
Slog.
this gem.
Yeah, for sure.
This desert rose.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it worked for me, but I'm not a fan of dating apps. But like also, I was dating during COVID and all that stuff. And like, what else were you supposed to do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think they're great for like certain things. If you're not out being social, if your schedule doesn't allow it at that time, I think dating apps are amazing and it should be given a shot. But like, if you have the ability to, it's way better to go out in person and meet people in person.
I agree.
Quick question for both of you. How do you feel about someone approaching you at a coffee shop or something like that and
Oh my
talking
God.
to you and asking for your number?
Yes. I don't
would
understand.
die.
It does not happen. It does not happen
No.
anymore. All you get, I'm telling you, all you get is they stare at you from across the room, make eye contact 25 times and smile at you. And you're like,
Daydream about what could have been. And as you watch
yeah.
them walk out the door.
No one ever approaches. Even like I had this guy at my apartment like stop me and I was
Stopped
Oh,
you?
dear.
No, stopped.
Oh, I thought I heard stock too. I was like,
I would not be saying that so casual. That's like my
Right.
biggest fear.
Yeah.
No, but I was so thrown off by the interaction, which was so sad because it was just like, I was like, why are you talking? Why are you coming up and talking to me? But he's like, hey, like, I just like to meet neighbors and just wanted to say hi. Like, I live on this floor, like, hi, blah, blah, blah. And it was like so nice. But I was like, even just that is so foreign versus like 10 years ago, I feel like it was like, you had to be like, please stop coming up to me. Like, I'm just trying to have a night with my friends. But now it's like, they're like scared of you. I don't know why. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it, like a lot of stranger interaction is now like solicited
That's
through
true.
dating apps, and so it's
Yeah.
kind of like it now it has become weird to approach people,
Which is
in public.
heartbreaking.
I
It
know,
is
it's
so
sad.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because on dating apps, I just attract serial killers. So
She does.
dear.
I'm going to be
She
single
does.
forever.
We
No,
need to
it's,
do a whole episode
No.
just breaking down.
no, like my friends
Her
think I'm
dates.
being dramatic because they're like, you just need to try harder. And I'm like, please just scroll for like 2 minutes. It's weird. I'm like a magnet.
Wow.
I've had people look at my photos. I'm like, am I like they're so innocent.
Right.
They're so sweet.
So pure.
And yeah, no, I get
Maybe you should
weirdos.
fight fire with fire and be like, okay,
Become
here's
the serial killer.
Yeah, exactly. And just be like,
Everything.
and then they're like, you know what? Because they're probably looking for sweet and innocent, right? It's like, nah, you can't
like
F
I'm
with me.
easy
Yeah.
prey.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Let them know.
I also like if we're not bantering, if you're not like making me laugh, like flowing in the convo, then like I don't care how hot you are. Like I'm like, okay, I'm bored.
100%.
Yeah.
So
Gotta be entertaining. I actually have a friend recently told me a story about someone who went on a date with a serial killer that they know.
shut a real one.
Like,
Can we hear more?
We are like
My
true
friend
crime.
Cam can tell it better. My friend Cam can tell it better, but I can like recount what I heard from him.
Please do.
So my friend Cam's friend, so this is a friend of friend, was going on dates and went on this date with this guy from Tinder. And the date was fine. It was great, but it wasn't like anything crazy. Like I think it was probably going to stop at a first date, but it wasn't weird or anything. It was just
special.
like, it was just like a mediocre first date. The next day, or maybe like it was like 2 or 3 days later, he texts her and said, "Hey, sorry to ask this, but I just like got kicked out of my house. My my friends had moved out of town, and my family is like across the states. Can I just crash at your place?"
Absolutely not.
For one night.
Absolutely
for one
not.
night. And again, they met each other, and it seemed completely fine, right?
Right.
I
So
still would say no.
She
Absolutely.
said,
I would absolutely say no.
Yeah.
kind of weird request from a first date.
Totally.
And she was like, she talked to a couple friends and whatever, and he's like, and she's like, oh, like he really seems down on his luck. Let me just give him like a place to stay. And she's like, yes, you can come over. We're not hooking up, just so that's clear. You can sleep on the couch. I'm gonna be in my room, right? And apparently, what happened is he's on the couch, and everything's fine. She's in her room, and she was like, oh, should I lock the door? I'm gonna lock the door.
Yeah.
So she locks the door. And then she's like asleep. And then all of a sudden she hears like banging on her door. And she's like, hey, I left my charger in there. I really need to like access my phone. Like my phone charger is not working.
Ashley.
And then the phone rang. Dun, dun, dun. And she's like, no, I know your phone charger is out there. There's nothing in here. He's like, no. And he's like banging. And then she's like, you need to leave. He then I think like immediately like runs out after he realizes that he's not going to make it in her room. And then she calls the police. The police come, and she walks out of her room, and then the whole floor is covered in plastic wrap.
No. Oh my God.
And they found
Dexter
like
was in her.
and they found like a set of like tools or something. And so
terrifying.
And apparently like the name associated with the account was like not a real name, and like he wasn't like this person does like not exist.
I'm going to die alone. I'm never going on a date ever again.
Wow.
That's so
This is Cam's friend.
That's insanity.
Yeah. He tells it better, but I remember hearing, oh my
Yeah.
That is the scariest thing I have ever heard in my entire life.
The plastic, the premeditated.
Yeah.
Well, no, and it's like
this wasn't just like.
But see,
was this the first time?
that's why you
Not
always
at
say
all.
no, absolutely not. That's why you always say no, because if you listen to true crime frequently, like we do, like those are always the things. Like, oh shoot, like I really need help. Like, oh,
Right.
I'm
nice,
down on my
sweet,
luck.
innocent angels.
Because
like,
they
aw.
know women like gush over stuff like that. Like, oh, you need help? Like, we'll help you. Oh my God.
And that it may be true crime is the reason that it's weird to approach people on the street.
1,000%.
No, I will say I get very like freaked out if like people.
We're paranoid.
Yeah, I'm paranoid.
100%.
Like if someone, but see, that's
as
the
you
thing.
should be. There's literally out here.
Dear God, I'm so scared.
But that's what's crazy is that's not just a creep. That's not just like a weird dude or like a guy trying to.
It's not just like, oh, why won't you kiss me on a first date?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not just like that's like
Also,
psychopath crazy.
Not me like thinking how he could have done it better, but he really messed up because he should have just used his tools to open the door. But why would you bet if he would have just been like, hey, I'm so sorry, like I didn't bring my charger, can I borrow yours? Boom, he's in.
That's true.
He messed up.
Well, I think that just goes to show like how crazy he is.
No, yeah. But you
Could think
you
everything
bring
else through, but couldn't think
plastic,
that.
like aren't you like
Socially not
Doing
really
all
about
that.
it.
Thing.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, I don't know why
I'm glad
thinking
that
that way.
you had good bolts on her door.
Should we start a separate crime podcast? That is
Let's
fun.
go.
Yeah. Well, so we have a segment called Tearing It Up, named after Because you describe it because it's your favorite thing.
It's the best. One of the best things about Taryne and why we're friends and get along so well is because of how hilarious she is. And the funniest things happen to her. She's a magnet for just chaos.
Chaos.
Absolute chaos. So she shared a funny story. People loved it. So now people send in their funny stories, embarrassing things that might have happened to them so that we can start the episodes off with a good laugh. And we would love
if you guys have any embarrassing moments you would love to share with us.
Oh, wow. We're here. I mean, you heard one. I think because I shared mine already about the 24 minutes, I think you should share yours.
We actually, to preface my embarrassing story, we actually changed my embarrassing story in the bathroom before me and Sam went to the bathroom.
We were discussing.
And then we came back up. So
okay. I was like, you had one in the bathroom.
We had a discussion in the bathroom to switch gears.
Yes.
So in high school, I used to dislocate my knee all the time.
Oof.
I was in marching band and like
I was in marching band.
What'd you play?
Snare.
Shut up. Wait.
Did you play snare?
Shut up. Snare.
Did we just become
snare
best friends?
off.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Oh.
Snare off.
Yes.
I love that.
That was band captain.
Yeah.
You know, it was the whole thing. Yeah.
Did you just say you were snare captain?
I was band captain.
I was snare captain.
Yo, you're
not
good.
as cool, but
wow.
No,
I mean, I
honestly-
wasn't band captain, but
But I mean, snare captain though. You were in the center.
yes.
Did you? Were y'all into like DCI and like?
Yes.
This is
Where'd
so
you go
cute.
to high school?
I went to a small private Christian high school in Redlands,
What's it called?
Arrowhead Christian Academy.
Oh, for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, y'all would
What's
go to like the
happening?
international competitions and stuff, and we did. We only went to the Florida one. We didn't go to like the international one, but
Got it.
Yeah, we would watch your tapes. Yeah,
No.
for sure. Yeah,
What's
yeah.
happening right now? I'm living for this.
Yeah.
This is wild.
Were you center snare at Arrowhead?
Yeah.
You are.
No, she's
Bad MFer. You're a bad MFer.
Wait, can you give some context
yes.
to what this all means?
Yes.
Because it sounds impressive, but just from your tone, but I have no idea what that means.
Thank you for helping me podcast. So, quick context. So in the drum line, the center, the closer you are to the center in like the snare line, the better you are because everyone listens into the center to basically keep time and be on.
Yeah.
I was in the point of like the dance routine formation.
This isn't
Does that
about you.
mean I'm amazing? I just need a compliment.
I need you back
I'm
off.
just kidding.
You are incredible, Taryne. Let me tell you something.
Your nails, amazing.
They do not remind me of my mom. Yes.
And that's a win. That's a win.
And then DCI is basically like the NFL for marching bands. So they have like teams essentially like the Blue Devils and the Cavaliers and Santa Clara Vanguard.
I went to Riverside Community College where the Blue Devils are. And I was obsessed with them.
I mean, as you should. We Boston Crusaders held their audition camps at our high school, and my former band director is now the director of the Boston Crusaders.
Holy
Yeah,
crap.
we have a whole.
That is wild.
I love a geek out moment.
Yes,
I
this is
like
super
watching.
So
geek out. So
Blue Devils are like the top band.
the best.
I actually think
stupid
I
how good they
saw
are.
a video of them
Probably.
doing some crazy formations where they were like literally animating humans.
I believe it. They're
I would
that
be
crazy.
like going to class and I would get distracted because I'd see them practicing and I would just be sitting there just watching.
How come?
So
Did you not want
I
to do
never
it?
did in college. No, it was just high school.
Yeah, I didn't either. The one final thing, and then I'll get back to it. Chigga 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 chigga. Is that? That's their okay. That's their like.
I didn't meet you that
I was like, if we get this is gonna be like, oh, like the ET moment. That was their. It was like one of their like signature warm up things. So
Oh.
like everyone in the band would.
Got
I
it.
forgot the name of it.
Dude,
But
John
that
was
was like
deep.
so if it's like
was-
chigga like that's like the signature lick that like
after
oh
deep cut
It
after
was a
Blue
full
Devils.
like different foreign language. All of a sudden. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that was. Thank you for geeking
That's
out with me
great.
on that.
That's great.
On to my embarrassing story.
Please.
So I dislocated my knee all the time in marching band and stuff, and I hadn't dislocated it for a long time. I was. This was like right after Thanksgiving. We were on our daily call with our team for our podcast. I was using the bathroom and then going to get into the car with my dad and girlfriend to drive to the airport. As I was peeing, I dislocated my knee again for like the first time in forever. And
Wait, does it just like you're just standing there? And
the
just
tendons are just like little loose rubber bands.
and it just
So
says bite. Okay.
It just slipped out of place, and of course I was like,
Yeah,
Wow,
but you
you're
were
peeing?
standing.
I was standing.
Was there
Yes.
spillage?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
that was my.
I was imagining a hose.
Yeah. I leaned back onto the right one and it popped back into place.
Oh my
but,
gosh.
So ever since then, I have been sitting on the toilets, and today in the bathroom was my first time standing up
and
because
he
I was
told
using
me
the urinal.
this is my first time standing since I
So
dislocated
it
my knee.
became a fear.
I'm still afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he's conquering his fear today.
I did
Look at
conquer
you.
my fear
in
today.
I'm so
this
proud of
studio.
you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was scared, especially next to Sam, because I'm like, if this happens again, it's gonna be
Spillage on
very
Sam.
embarrassing. Luckily, there was
There's
a
a
stall
wall, there's a
separating
wall.
us, but
you could have hit the toes.
You just cancel the
What about
episode.
like walking
Sorry.
up and down stairs? I know you had to come upstairs to get here.
actually, it's when the knee is bent. That's when I feel most secure. It's when it's
Fascinating.
like fully
Locked.
Just gotta always bend
Yeah,
the knees.
just
Open.
always have like a slight squat in place.
That's kind of what I've been doing.
Have
Yeah.
you seen? Did you see Jury Duty?
Yes.
I was recently explained the premise
The
of it.
stool.
I only saw the first half of the episode.
I haven't seen any episodes, only the
Well,
premise.
How
first of all, you
embarrassing.
should watch it. It's hilarious.
Yes.
But this guy creates this stool so that no matter where he goes, he has a option to sit, and it's like this weird mechanic. It's
Like the
not
carrying
funny
I feel
if
like
you
I've
haven't
seen
seen
that.
it,
Yeah.
but it's
Oh my God,
incredible.
did I
You
just
should watch
kick
it.
you?
Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't John's knee though. So
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
injured on a podcast.
I can't sit still. Sorry. Okay, that's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing your
Yeah,
embarrassing stories.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna read one of the stories. Do you want to read it?
sure. Let me see. Let me pull it up.
Do you guys both play video games?
Not really.
No, I actually, my parents didn't allow me to watch TV growing up,
Really?
so I didn't have TV or video games.
Interesting.
I didn't get a lot of TV either.
Yeah, I got I had 4 National Geographic VHS
Get
tapes.
out of that is brutal.
And I have seen a buffalo get eaten by an alligator probably 100 times.
Dear
That's
God.
terrifying. I can't watch those.
One day my parents just turned it off and they were like, "You don't need this," and I was like,
Yeah, I do.
"Yeah."
But the thing is, you do, because my parents had a parent-teacher conference in 4th grade, and they're like, so like, Sam hasn't. I moved from Australia to America around that time, and and like my teacher's like, Sam hasn't been adjusting well. And like, oh, is it like what's wrong? It's well, the people keep referencing like SpongeBob and all of these characters, and Sam has no idea what's happening. I think it would be in his best social interest to get a television.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
You didn't know
That's
how to
so
relate.
opposite.
I didn't know how to. I didn't know
Shout
how
out
to.
to the
sad.
teacher.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
That's clutch, because
you know.
usually, well, in kids I work with, I usually have to give the meetings of being like, hey, we should probably limit like the type of things they're watching.
Yeah.
Because like the kids who have
Like,
like
that
big like
makes more-
behavioral
that makes more
problems.
sense.
You
Yeah.
can only talk about water buffaloes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I remember specifically once my TV got turned back on, Hannah Montana was a thing, and I had no idea who she was,
dude.
and just being like, so I do feel like I
It
don't.
is confusing.
I don't really
like Miley
care.
Cyrus, Hannah Montana.
I didn't grow up
Yeah.
with Hannah
Yeah.
Montana, so people are like obsessed with it, and I'm like, I'm not, because I didn't watch it. 'cause
You
I
couldn't
didn't have
party in
TV.
the USA.
Yeah.
Mm.
No,
How
I
sad.
couldn't.
No,
I
my
couldn't.
sad.
parents were strict about like what kind of things we watched. Like I wasn't allowed to watch anything like remotely inappropriate or like
Same.
even like Scooby Doo. Like they went because it was like ghosts. Like I
Dang,
couldn't
really?
watch it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dang,
when
I
I
might
was
have
little.
had the most license here. I thought I was like,
Yeah, but
that
I
you were
also
strict?
like. I'm like maybe I was like freaking out. Like that might have been like a strategic like, honey, you can't handle this.
I used
Now
to
that
get
I'm
really bad
thinking about it.
nightmares, and my parents would
Yeah.
like anything kind of remotely scary. They'd be like, "Are you
Courage the
sure?
Cowardly Dog.
Are
Yeah.
you sure?"
That show
was
is
terrifying.
though.
Freaky.
Yeah, but it's so
Terrifying.
won an Emmy.
It was so scary.
Who
Yeah.
gave that an Emmy? That's
The Emmys.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this story. This one starts off, "Hey, Ashley and Taryne and guests.
Yeah, and guys.
Hello.
I love the podcast and all the advice that you two have given, so maybe you can help me. I've been dating my boyfriend for 2.5 years. I'm 25 and he's 27. And more recently, I have had thoughts of breaking up because our hobbies just don't align. Let me explain. I love going on hikes, bike riding, running, and being outdoors. He, on the other hand, is the complete opposite of me and enjoys watching TV, playing video games, and spending most of his time indoors. We met through a dating app and hit it off with great conversations. We still do have those great conversations, but not as often because he's too busy playing games. Granted, we both work from home, so we do see each other 24/7. So there isn't that much to talk about that we don't really already know. I could just be overreacting, but my boyfriend will spend most nights during the week after work playing games, and then all weekend, I'm talking 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday and then again on Sunday, playing various games on the PC and Xbox.
Ick.
That's an ick.
I do not like games, but have adopted to playing some games once in a while since he likes them so much. I have my own hobbies to keep me busy most of the time. However, I have expressed to him that I would like to do some fun couple things like going bowling, maybe going for a hike, a
Walking
walk,
outside.
a picnic, or really
grass.
anything besides staring at a TV screen. Yes, I can do all of these things alone, but what's the fun in that? Ideally, I would love for him to spontaneously ask if I wanted to do something fun outdoors, she adds in parentheses, or anywhere at this point. But I am doubtful as he hasn't suggested anything during this whole relationship, and it's really bumming me out. While we do go out once in a while, it is always me who makes the plans and persuades him to go. Most nights, I just think, and maybe I'm overthinking, but I just wish he would play fewer video games or even fewer hours, LOL, and spend more time with me instead of his computer. Are we not meant for each other? Will I just be making the plans for the rest of our lives? We just have different views on a fun weekend and they aren't vibing. I am uncertain of how to solve this problem given that other aspects of our lives are fine and really it's just the differences in how we spend our free time. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, Molly.
Woof, man.
Woof.
Woof.
Not just a gamer, he lives and breathes
Hours
the game.
on weekends too is crazy.
How else is he going to be number one on Fortnite?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
How else
true.
is he gonna
He
do?
got to get that double platinum, dude.
Yeah.
It's the dedication or it's nothing.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
His
He
eyes
is-
are for
he
sure
is committed
square.
though. I mean, like,
He's committed to something.
Yeah.
Yeah, not her.
Maybe not his partner.
Love
Yeah.
to see his stats on the games.
Yikes. Yeah.
Like, is
What
it
about
worth
the stats
it?
in our relationship? Put those numbers on the board, buddy.
HP very low.
Yeah.
For real. But yeah, I think it was funny because at first I was like, wait, it's not me, but like I'm in a relationship with same ages, but very not anything else in common.
Your girlfriend just writes
I
it.
was literally like, whoa, what?
Plot twist.
yeah.
This is you.
But I think, one thing we say on our show all the time is like there
Had to be red flags.
had to be red flags and like other things beneath the surface, like OP, the author, said, everything else is fine. But like he's not respecting you, and
And are you spending time together?
Is everything else fine?
is everything else fine? Like
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't sound like it. So I think what I would suggest to do is like if you find it hard to like figure out how to definitely talk to him,
Yeah.
lay out everything you're feeling.
Something that I thought like maybe could be changed because obviously like this isn't a good situation
Yeah.
with him spending all his time playing video games. But something that I noticed that she said, she's like, oh, I just want him to like spontaneously take me on a hike or something. And he might be totally oblivious to the fact that you want that. So just ask initially.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't move an inch from asking, then I think it's could be a little hard to continue.
Yeah.
100%.
I was going to say something similar. I feel like I misread signals. I misread a lot of like things that can be going on in relationships. So I feel like when it comes to stuff like this, you need to give your partner the opportunity to fix it. And you can't, he's never going to spontaneously, nothing about him says he's going to spontaneously ask you to go do something else. So you have to tell him that that's what you want and then give him a good amount of time to make a move on that, and then whatever that time is, if he doesn't do it by that time, then there's a problem. But like he needs to be told and he needs to be given a chance to fix it.
He doesn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
think he knows.
No, we say that all the time. I always tell people, and Ash too, I'm like, I think it's normal and okay to like tell people how to love you. Like how
100%.
like if I'm dating someone, like I want them to succeed. Like I want them to be like, I want our partnership to be good. So I'm going to say like, hey, like it means a lot if you like do this or that. Like no one can like read your mind. But I think like for me, the part that really bothered me is that this girl who's outdoorsy and like loves being outdoors has learned how to play video games so she can spend time with him, but like he can't even plan like a date or whatever. And
it
I
doesn't
think
need to be a hike. I understand that's
No,
excessive for
but-
someone who doesn't.
But I think
go
even
outdoors.
like her just saying like, hey, like, can we spend more time together? Like
Yeah.
him just being open to that. And I feel like my relationship that went south, it was very much like that. It was like me pouring, but not getting anything in return. So then I was like a shriveled raisin at the end.
Yeah.
And he was like thriving, right? So I think like it'd be one thing if it was like 50-50. Like maybe you can plan like fun video night games, but then also like something else. And also like I don't think that's healthy, 10 hours.
10
No,
hours?
Just in general.
that's crazy.
And then imagine like once you have kids, like you're like just like
Babe, I'm about to
taking-
win this round. Like, how could I change our child?
how much blood is coming out of his forehead?
I'm wondering if so we actually learned about something the other day that could be applicable. Like, is he actually spontaneously taking care of you at all? Because it sounds like she's putting a lot of effort in.
100%.
Is he doing anything back? You could do the orange peel method.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. This
Oh,
is
I'm
our
so
TikTok
intrigued.
trend on our show.
So
I'm scared.
the orange peel method is this idea that you can see how invested your partner is by asking them to do a small thing and see what their response is. So and something that you could do yourself, right? So it's like, hey, can you peel this orange for me? And if they say like, no, like I wouldn't do that. Or like, hey, can you help me like tie my shoes? Or hey, can you like help with this laundry? If they aren't willing to do that at all, then it might be indicative of a
larger
issue
Interesting.
where it's like, oh, they're not willing to do like things for you.
The most simplest.
Yeah, even
I
like,
would
even the smallest
literally
thing.
pass that test if like a dog asked me something. I'm like,
Same,
I'm
same.
always just like, what? Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Almost like you don't even think. You just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you
Fascinating.
pass, Ash?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah,
I'm just
absolutely.
kidding.
I mean, yeah, I feel like if it could have been anything and I'd be like, sure.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't
I
drive
mean,
an extra minute. So
interesting.
Big question mark
we
over
won't
here.
ask you if you'll pass Josh. But I think too, okay, so like that is the whole, like, I think sometimes people have tendencies or they have certain like comfort levels. And then does it take a specific person to like break you out of that? Or do you think like people just are who they are? Because I've seen guys that are like just like douches and then like they meet this girl and then all of a sudden they're like a mush about her, you know? So it's like, I'm not saying for you who wrote in like you're not enough for him. Like this sounds like a deeper issue for him. But it's like how much of it is like just the people don't match up or how much of it is like you just got to be more blunt. You know
I
what
feel
I
like
mean?
either way, she's got to
Oh,
tell
yeah.
him
Did
because,
she say she's
like you said, you learned a lot in relationships. Like if no
Yeah.
one's telling him this, like someone's
Yeah.
got to tell him.
I think I am a better person for being in all my relationships.
Yeah, like you walk away from everything.
You learn how to love-
You learn
100%.
stuff.
Yeah, and also you learn that like there's different love languages, and like
Yeah.
the way that I receive love is not necessarily how someone else might receive love, or needs to be shown that they are loved. And so maybe it's just that your love language is. This is something that we talked about with the orange peel method.
Yeah.
Where the counter to that is maybe your love languages are different, and like acts of service isn't really something that is like high on your list of priorities, but it's
Yeah.
like something else might be. So.
Yeah. I love that. I was like really big into that. And it was funny because like I made my ex and I like take it and ours are like polar opposites. So then I was like very intentional about working on his. And
What were they?
his was quality time and I can't remember. This was like we're talking like 8 years ago. But mine were physical touch and words of affirmation. And so he literally one time he was like, I don't think we should like kiss or like touch because we should work on our like communication and like blah blah blah, which I'm like, okay, that's like my number one
Fully
love language.
came off
Interesting.
my
And
big
then
one.
there was one time where it was like, we shouldn't say, let's try not saying like I love you and like blah blah blah. So like we don't just like lose the meaning of the word. So I'm like, okay, so you're gonna starve me of like
Everything.
two
I will
areas.
not
love you so we can love each other more.
He genuinely and that's what like with him, I think my biggest thing is I'm so quick to like try to understand someone and like not make excuses for them, but be like, oh, I get I know about your past. Like, I get who you are. Like, I get why you're saying this. So, like, he was genuinely thinking he was trying to, like, better our relationship. But, like, it was, like, his version of our relationship and not, like, actually looking at who I'm in a relationship with. So it was so funny. But I think that's the same thing. It's like you're learning about him and figuring out how to, like, speak. Like, I'm sure it's so hot when you're like, hey, like, I practiced playing this video game. You want to, like, Fortnite together? Like, he's like, yeah. But, like he's not doing the opposite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be 50-50.
Like, that would bother me if I started dating someone. I was like, hey, do you want to build Legos? And they were like, no, Legos are stupid. I would be like,
I love Legos.
well, come like, oh, I have all the sets. But yeah, so I think it's more of an effort. Like, it's not an excuse that he doesn't like to do what you're doing.
Right.
It's that he's not putting that effort.
Zero effort whatsoever coming from
2.5
his
years
side.
is a long time,
That's
too.
a long time.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there weren't red flags before.
There
No,
has
there
to
has
be.
to be, yeah.
And
Should have
also,
brought
what
a
did
red
you
flag.
talk? Yeah, I know.
We have them now.
Yeah. Do you
Literal
really?
red flags.
Do
Yeah.
you?
We do.
How
We do.
fun.
We do
That
all
would
the
be-
time.
You just hear every time she's reading something and there's red flag, I'm always like, ugh. Like, you just hear me like in the background, but I want a flag.
The amount of times we're like, that's a red flag.
Yeah. Wait, did you bring your red flags?
We did it. I said we should have.
We should have.
Okay.
Come on, Riley. Produce
on,
us.
Riley.
Produce us, man. We're lost without you.
All right. Do we have
I
time
miss
for
them.
one more short one, or should
Yeah,
we?
let's do a
okay.
quick short one.
Do a short one. Okay, need dating advice. Hi, Ash and Taryne. My name is Danielle, and I've been a longtime listener. You can use my name. This is my first time writing in, but I need some advice. I'm 29 and an Enneagram 9, and I am a Capricorn like Ash. So basically, she's you. She is you.
Hey.
I've been seeing this guy for 3 months since the beginning of summer. He's 31. Okay, what is she? 31, 29. Okay, I met him on Hinge. What is with the dating apps?
Yeah, it's a dating app episode.
Wow, I could never relate. Okay. At the start, he was such a gentleman and I loved spending time with him. He would text daily and hang out almost every weekend. But for the past month, we haven't texted as much because life gets in the way. You're making excuses already for him. But we have weekly check-ins and try to meet up on the weekends. I'm also the one who always reaches out to hang out. The last time I saw him was his birthday 2 weeks ago. I treated him to dinner and we went to the movies. He mentioned that he's looking at moving out of state, maybe Philly area. We live in North Jersey, about 15 minutes away from each other. This past week, I texted asking his Labor Day weekend plans, but he didn't respond until 5 days later. For context, no, this is gonna be a good one because I've heard so many girls make excuses for like, I know it's been a week, but like his grandma's sick, like
Right.
he couldn't.
His dog ate his homework.
Yeah, literally. For context, when I do text him, he does take a day or two. I hate that. But this was the longest I waited. He apologized for not responding and said he visited places out of state to move to. I checked his Hinge profile yesterday, and his location changed to Philly, and his bio says he's new to the city. Am I crazy that I still want to talk to him? Honestly, I don't feel like we have to read anymore. Yes.
That's tough.
He doesn't know that I know this, and I asked him if I could still see him if he moves. It would be about an hour and 45-minute drive. He lived at his parents' house for the past year to save money, and I also still live with my family. It's expensive to live on our own here, and I'm very family-oriented, so I wouldn't want to be far from my family. Since I texted him asking if I would still see him, he hasn't responded, and it's been 2 days. Should I wait for his response, or should I reach out to him again to see where he stands? I thought by now, going into fall, we would be more serious and a place to put a label on it, but it feels more like we're drifting apart.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
advice you could give, I'd greatly appreciate.
You gotta cut him off.
Cut them off.
You gotta cut him
Yeah.
off.
This
All-
is so
That's
sad.
heartbreaking.
I know. I also never like when it's like, should I reach out or like, should I? I'm always just like, just talk.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm much more. I think it's rare because I think girls overthink that so much. Like they're like, well, I texted him last, or well, he said this. He didn't really ask me a question, so I'm not. Like girls get really into that. Like,
Well, as Taylor Swift would say, there is a part in like a time frame in dating where it's just very delicate and you don't want to ever come across as like super needy.
Yeah.
I feel like once that phase passes,
Yeah.
then it's fine. But
Yeah,
like
yeah,
in
yeah.
that phase, it's like, do I make the move? Do I say
I
this?
feel
Do I
like if you
initiate?
want to, you should. And for me, like I'd rather just know on my part. Like I tried texting one more time, and I'm very much of like, hey, like I'm kind of picking up on like maybe we're not vibing anymore. Like.
Yeah.
I'd like to give you an out so like I know instead of like sitting making excuses of like why someone's like texting or not texting me. But I feel like in your situation, Danielle, I feel like he's already given you like
I think he's being
all
very
the
clear.
info.
Yeah, I feel it's very clear that he has become uninterested.
And because we're on your side, Danielle.
Team Danielle.
Yeah. I would very much just I would just drop it, move on.
Yeah.
Maybe go on a date. Sometimes you need to
Palate cleanser.
cleanser. You just need to remember there's other people out there, whether the date's good or not. You just need to go get out there and get your mind off of this guy because he's
So
trash.
is it valid if a guy says, "Oh, I'm just a bad texter"?
No.
great question.
Because yeah, I think I have been a bad texter and have realized oh, I need to improve on this. And I think especially with the person you're with, especially if they if you're in a relationship with someone and they tell you, then it's all right, I need to at least improve, and also maybe explain what maybe you're just super absent-minded person generally, hey, I am, these are the reasons why, and I'm gonna try and make an effort, and then actually make an effort.
But what about in that? Because I get if you're just friends, because I'm terrible at texting. Ashley knows.
She's the worst.
But I have no problem when people double text me and yell at me. I'm
Yeah.
oh, my bad. Hi. But I feel every time I've asked guys, when you're in that, you're trying to pursue a girl, they usually are will respond. I feel you're not if you're a bad texter, there's a little more kicking your pants to respond. If it's a girl you're trying to
Also, the
pursue.
priorities.
Yeah. And then if you're in a relationship, then it can go downhill again.
I feel I'm way more when I'm in a relationship, that person is always the first person I respond to.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's ever sat more right with me than that phrase that was going around that is if they are interested, you'll know. If they're not interested, you'll be confused. I fully believe in that. And I think you're confused for a reason, Ryder, because he's not interested, unfortunately.
I think you should not. It's up to you, girl. If you want your last closure of hey, you're not responding, I'll take that as a no, good luck in Philly, or just send him a screenshot of his dating profile if you want to be just a little.
Super
if you like the drama.
Well, if he's already dipping out,
no,
he's
dipped out. But
he's not.
Some people
he's
need
not
that
going
last
to.
I just want to say my piece. So do that if you
I think
need
it's a good
to.
move.
But
totally.
But I don't think anything he gives you, any type of excuse is oh, I'm just busy. I feel he's told you.
Yeah.
And when
How
people
long
tell
have
you
you
you're
been seeing each
rubbish,
other again?
a
3
few
months.
3 months. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that's fairly new.
He's
to
beating
me.
around the bush for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
He's looking for that
Luckily,
Philly.
there's
that
more
Philly
guys out
dime
there.
piece.
Yep.
he really.
He's looking
really
for some
is.
other Johns now. Not me. Not me.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys for writing in, and thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
This
us.
was so fun. It was
male
fun.
advice.
Yeah.
I feel I'm also learning a lot too.
Same.
Yeah,
I
I
had
was
such
just
a
had no
we
idea.
always say, because I know we have, what is our percentage now? 7? Do we go up to 7
We
males?
are firmly at 5% male
I thought we
audience.
went up.
I thought we did too.
It's fine.
Gentlemen, tune into this podcast.
Literally, that's
that.
what I always
Do
say.
it.
I'm I don't understand why more guys don't listen to podcasts where women are literally giving you a roadmap of this is how
You're
I
getting
want
all
to be
the
talked
secrets.
to. This
All
is
the secret
yeah.
sauce.
So, anyways, that's my point. We always end with a dad joke. I asked you guys to bring some. Did we?
Yeah.
What'll be the true test is if I haven't heard it. Then that'll be
Honestly.
impressive.
Okay.
We went
That'll be
through a
really
whole book
impressive.
on this podcast already.
Whoa.
No,
It's-
I love dad jokes. So
Okay. I mean, I don't even know if this is the dad joke, but why did the plane crash?
I don't know why you're looking at me.
because I like your guesses. She always goes airplane, wing.
Wing.
Why?
Because the pilot was a piece of toast. That's it.
Oh, because he was literally.
Because the pilot.
Our producer's dying in the background.
Because he was literally.
Well, yeah. If you have a piece of toast as your pilot, then the plane is gonna crash.
Do you get it? It's a piece of bread was flying the plane, so it crashed.
Well, yeah, I don't get how that's funny.
It's funny because it's
Is it funny?
stupid. Yeah.
It's called an anti-joke.
Yeah.
It's like what's brown and sticky? A stick.
See, I'm not a fan of those. That's
It's
not
not
funny
her
to me.
humor. It's mine.
No, there's dad jokes that are funny, and then there's I don't
and then
know what that is.
I'm bringing to the
I don't know what that is. I don't know.
I don't know how to respond.
Did you have one you brought?
Advice her. I just met her. I didn't prepare. I was like, so when y'all said bring the dad joke, I was just, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought like, oh, I'll just like in the moment, because I like to practice my wittiness and whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, in the
challenge.
moment,
You're just gonna say it.
I'll come
it's
and
okay.
just like
It's okay. It's okay.
I
Just
love that
listen to the
challenge.
last minute of our podcast, our episodes. Just go through
You'll
last
have
minute,
so many dad
and I'll
jokes.
give you
Yeah.
all the ammo. You
Do you have
Next
one?
time.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, I didn't bring one.
No.
but you
On the
gotta
spot.
have some like locked and loaded,
Of course
right?
you do.
I mean,
Give us a classic, best of.
this happens to me all the time. Someone will be like, "What's a song you like?" And I'm like, "Have
While
I
you're
ever
thinking, I can
listened
give
to
you more of my
music?"
terrible jokes.
Ooh.
Hit
Oh
us
yeah,
with another.
yeah, hit us.
Yeah.
What's red and smells like green paint?
Smells like what?
Green paint.
Green paint.
Yeah.
I won't say it.
You know?
I think I do.
Red paint.
I hate it. I hate it. I don't get it. It's not funny.
That's good. Amazing. Thank you guys for ending just with a bang. You guys, can you go ahead and give like all your socials, like where people can check you out? And then also, if you're listening to this, also go check out their podcast because we are doing a swap. So we'll be on theirs.
You'll see them.
But yeah,
on
give us all
ours.
the handles for your personal, your podcast, all the things.
Absolutely. OKOP Show, letters OKOP, Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, and
YouTube.
on YouTube.
TikTok.
Yeah, we're everywhere, but find us on podcast and
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
That's where we want you.
Yeah.
So go there.
Sweet. Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you
Thank
for having
you.
us.
This is so great.
All right, guys, we love you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.